back on Sports Central. Joining us now, the head coach of Southeastern University football, Cesar Rivas. Coach Rivas?
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Glad to have you back. And boy, everything's back to normal, right?
It's the new normal.
That's right.
I think we were joking around about this. I don't know what Southeastern football is like without COVID. So it's been back-to-back years, and we're plugging away and trying to give the fans something fun to watch on Saturdays.
Well, I think that's an important point that you just made there, that some of the college conferences played in the spring last year, but Southeastern chose to play in the fall. And I believe it was, 5-1,
yes,
ended
sir.
up getting 6 games in. So you go through what seems to be the normal schedule per se,
right.
But right out of the gate, first home game, season
right.
opener, all those things canceled.
Home opener this year. Unfortunately, we got the phone call Thursday afternoon before the home opener on Saturday that the other team had been going through some COVID issues, and so the first game got canceled. So we went from 11 game schedule to 10 right off the bat. So, but our guys have been awesome. Coach has been great, and so everybody keeps plugging away and forging ahead. So it's the people are making it great. Still making it great. Still out there practicing, running around. Still got a game in last week, so it's been good so far.
Wow, awesome. For this season, what's kind of your laid out expectations? Year 2, well, I guess we could say year 1.5 maybe.
Yeah.
But expectation with your schedule, your team coming back. I think it looks like you got a lot of returners this year, right. And kind of what you see forecasted for the Fire football.
Well, I think first and foremost, we just have an opportunity to get some games under our belt. Last year on a modified schedule, we knew we were only going to get maximum was going to be 8 or 9 games, and then we ended up getting in 6 on the docket. This year we had 11, trying to get in as many opportunities for playing as we can. And we had 6 on the docket for at home, trying to give our fans something to come behind and enjoy the campus life for our students. So that's really kind of the first thing that we're trying to do, is get everybody to just have a following and somehow shout about and have capacity crowds and not the 50% stuff. And but we do have one thing that COVID did do for us was it provided a lot of opportunity for a lot of different guys to play. So some guys are out on quarantine, some guys are isolated, so another guy steps up, and it was just kind of this revolving door at different positions all season long. And so we've got a lot of those guys back to do the same thing this year. And so just want to see a lot of progress. Every time we're out on the football field, we talk about going 1-0. We're always striving for a championship, and conference championship, national championship, but the first thing, we got to take care of business every week. And we don't know, along with COVID, you just don't know how many games you have, so you don't take them for granted. And so every week you just go and try to win that ball game every Saturday.
I live in Bartow High School person, big Yellow Jacket supporter, and Coach Tate, who's the head football coach there at Bartow, said last year, even through COVID, it was the least amount of stress he's felt in the season, because he knew at the end of the year they were in the playoffs. So he didn't have to worry about it. Knowing what was in front of you, COVID aside,
right.
But knowing what was in front of you and maybe not some of the stressors of the regular season in its normalcy, was there some of that last year for you, or was it the constant grind of trying to figure out whether you're playing or anything like that?
I think for us it was just really trying to embrace every week as kind of just a new opportunity to play,
right.
and trying to give the kids a great experience. And so trying to keep them enjoying their day and have it be positive. I think that was just something we really embraced, and then let the winning take care of itself on any given Saturday. So that's kind of what we embraced last year. But this year, something where we're really plugging ahead. I think the expectation now is expect the unexpected. So instead of kind of bobbing and weaving like we did last year, maybe some moving targets, now we're just forging ahead, and we're going to play on Saturday until somebody tells us no. And that's how we kind of take it.
Yeah.
I know Drew and the guys there at Southeastern were great, and in regards to thankful to be able to bring you on to Southeastern. And I've coached a lot D1, D2, D3, NAIA, all the way across the board. What is it that drew you to Southeastern and coming to Lakeland?
Well, you brought up Drew and the other administrative staff. It was really the people. I was sitting in Southern California, which is home for me, and they picked up the phone and actually came out, and Drew Watson, athletic director, came out there and visited, and I didn't even know where Lakeland was on a map, and never heard of Southeastern University before outside of the one in Louisiana, and they were awesome. And I said, well, shoot, if they care that much about this place, I've really got to go check it out. And so when I came out here and brought my family, everybody fell in love with it, and just one thing led to another, and it was really a God thing at the end of the day. It was just something that really moved my family and I, and we haven't regretted a second since.
Yeah, that's terrific. All I hear you saying is Drew wanted to go on a trip to Southern California, and he ended up with a really good head coach out of it.
He was craving some In-N-Out. Right. Definitely, I'm not going to lie that first lunch was at In-N-Out. It was at In-N-Out.
Well, there you go. There you go. Well, we mentioned earlier that the first home game was canceled. You found out on a Thursday, and it was supposed to take place on a Saturday. Typically, those first home games are an appointment. Yeah, it's an appointment with an opponent that's a little bit of a tune-up before you go play someone like a Faulkner. That didn't get to happen. You had to go to Alabama. You had to play a very good Faulkner team. Talk to us a little bit about that game and maybe reasons why Southeastern wasn't victorious, and then what you're going to be able to apply to your next game. Well,
I think the key thing at any beginning of the season, you say there's so much growth between week 1 and week 2. It's the most amount of growth that your team will ever make. So it doesn't really matter who you're playing, up, down, across, doesn't matter. That growth between week 1 and week 2, because you finally get to see what it's like to hit somebody else at game speed and really get to evaluate everything on film truly in all aspects for the very first time. And so for us, that's what we were able to do at the end of Faulkner. We're just very detailed in going through all the film and all the personnel and our guys playing in the right places, and are we coaching it right? Are we not, lack of execution? What's going on here? And so we're able to really kind of break everything down, and we hit into the bye week. So we're going to go beat the heck out of the bye week right now and get a lot better. And for us, it couldn't come at a better time in that segue between week 1 and week 2 opponent for us. And that's really what we're trying to do. Just trying to get better every day, grow. Our issues in our first game were holding on to the football. We had some turnover issues and scoring in the red zone, and then being able to create more turnovers on defense. At the end of the day, it's all about possessions, right? And so even you look at the game last night, and it comes down to possessions, and they kept talking about whoever has the football last is probably going to win this football game. And so that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to create more possessions for our offense, and the more opportunities we do that, the more successful we'll be.
You were talking about that game last night. I was just hoping, like, middle of the third quarter, can we just go ahead and 2 possessions? Let's just cut through the next hour of this game time. But no, that's great stuff.
Speaking of your team, kind of what's the makeup of your team? What's your team defined by? You'll get some teams that's a run and gun offense and pure offense, and you got other teams, through the years that are built on defense, and that's their strong point. What for fans that are going out this year to Fire games, what can they expect to come to the game and see out of your team this year?
I love that question because I think it changes every week a little bit for us. We're a multiple offense, so you might come on out and see us in 10 personnel on 1 or 2 plays or through a drive, but then we're going to base out of 11 personnel, and we're going to run the football. We're going to run the football. We're built up front right now. I like a few of our running backs, really like a few of our running backs. Brian Bell, Lauren Parker, Deshaun Brown, some real heavy hitters. We got a young kid in there that I think might shock somebody here or there towards the end of the season when he starts really getting understanding the grasp of the offense. We have some playmakers on the edge, but we're built up front right now. Our quarterback understands the game, and he really starting to take a firm grasp on the offense right now. So we've kind of letting him roll. So it's the exciting part. You're going to see us run the football and set up our deep ball. We will stretch the field, and then on defense, we're built up front over there as well. And so if we can slow down the run, stop the run, create turnovers over there, I think we'll be great. And so got to play great on special teams, no matter what. Got to play great on special teams. And so because if you don't, it'll come back and nip you in the rear end, and you'll be paying for it a little bit later. So we've got to make sure that we secure that up.
Next home game against Thomas More on September 18th. Is that a 1 o'clock? Or
That's going to be 7
time?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock game time. Yep.
Fireworks out of the scoreboard.
Every time we score, so hopefully there's a lot of them. Keep ringing that bell.
Do you hope to have the conversation with Drew one day? Be like, listen, you got to slow down a little bit. You're really cutting into the athletic budget with the amount of pyrotechnics that we're having to supply.
Just as long as we still get ours, I'm happy camper.
Well, Coach, we have to. I like to do this with all coaches because I know they don't like to answer the question. But any predictions for this season?
You asked me the same thing last year.
I know.
Last year I said we'll be as good as our health goes and as quickly as we can galvanate as a team, and that's really what I truly believe that. I think we have a real high ceiling right now. with the returning guys. But you know, like I said, depends on who's playing on any given week with the situation that we're in right now. But I know we have a great ceiling right now. We've got a lot of talented players.
I meant to ask, and I got ahead of myself here, but playoffs and
Mm-hmm.
what is the structure this season for conference play and playoffs?
So conference play is as usual, and so is playoffs. Everything's back to normal.
Okay.
So they'll take the top 16 teams, and then we'll rock and roll. And if we're in the top 16, we'll make it to the playoffs, and it's one and done, just like it is every year. So that's kind of what it's looking like right now.
Okay. All right. Well, Coach, we appreciate it so much, and maybe we can get you back before next year. We'll get
There
you
we
on a
go.
little sooner. Maybe
There we go. Coming out and catch a ball game.
That's right. Oh, I've been out there. It's really good stuff, and you know we say it all the time that you can support. You know, if you're Florida State,
Right.
Miami, any of those schools. Well, beautiful thing about technology is you can record it and you can turn off those notifications on your phone. You can go out and see, you know, Warner, Weber, Southeastern, support local college football, and then go watch your other game.
No, that's the big ticket. It's just support the local colleges out here and those student athletes that work so hard and go to school, and they're laying it all out there on Saturday afternoons.
Well, we certainly know that Polk County is a hotbed of talent, and that continues into the college ranks with our 3 college teams. So
Yes,
once
sir.
again, Coach, good luck this year, and we look forward to having you back on Sports Central.
Thanks for having me.